Good afternoon and welcome to those joining us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LBN Newham. This is another meeting of the Licensing 2003 Act Subcommittee due to issues surrounding the coronavirus COVID-19 in order to meet with the social distance guidance issued by Her Majesty's Government and Public Health England. The meeting will be conducted throughout via teleconferencing arrangements. And just in addition, those members joining us live, for your information, to follow the references that we make, we've got paper copies, but you can also follow this on the agenda on the council's website under this diary for today, Thursday, the 24th of June at 2 o'clock. So without further ado, let's get on with the first item of business, which is on the declarations of interest. In accordance with the members of Code of Conduct, this is the time for members, and members is a reference to the elected councillors on the call today. It's an opportunity for us to declare any disclosable pecuniary interest or non-pecuniary interest they may have in any matter being considered at this meeting, having regard to the guidance attached to the agenda. Shall I start off and say I have nothing to declare, Councillor Murphy?
Nothing to declare, Chair.
Thank you. And Councillor Vaughan?
Nothing to declare at this time, Chair.
Thank you very much. Now we move to agenda item 2, which is a confirmation of procedure. That will be found on pages 5 and 6 of the bundle. So the first one is to do introductions. So let's start off with that. I'm Councillor Neil Wilson. I'm the Council's Chair of Licensing, and I'll be chairing this meeting of this subcommittee throughout. I represent the Ward of Plaistow South. Councillor Vaughan, please.
Councillor Winston Vaughan, representing Forestgate South Ward.
And Councillor Pat Murphy.
Councillor Pat Murphy, Royal Docks Ward.
To stress, we are the 3 elected members who make this decision, but because we're not lawyers, and this is based on the tenets of the Licensing 2003 Act Subcommittee and all its attached paperwork, we have our legal advisor, Umo.
Good afternoon, Umo from Legal Services.
And because we base our decision on what's in our pack, but also what's been spoken about, so it's written and oral, we have a clerk taking minutes behind the scenes, not on the screen, but can you introduce yourself, please, Nisha?
Thank you, Chair. Nisha Lethigua, Democratic Services.
Thank you. And the case officer who will present the report this afternoon?
Thank you, Chair. John Chisley, I'm from the Licensing officer, and I'm the case officer for this matter.
Right. And do we have somebody else from the licensing team doing that part of the agenda?
Unfortunately, my colleague that made representation is on annual leave this week, and due to staff commitments and operational issues, there is no one here to present his letter of representation today. But if there are any questions, I may be able to answer if members or the applicant has questions on that letter of representation.
Thank you. So we do have then licensing team in terms of presenting. From trading standards, we are waiting George. Is that correct?
That's correct, Chair. Yeah, the officer's been out this morning doing COVID visits, and he's just rushing back to the office now. So hopefully he will be here in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Environmental health team.
Thank you, Chair. Ian McConnell, Commercial Environmental Health.
And from Metropolitan Police.
Good afternoon, Chair. Connell Stoke, Metropolitan Police Licensing.
And Mr. Hussain, please. Can you introduce yourself? Mr. Hussain, can you introduce yourself?
The name?
Yeah, we can hear you now, yes.
My name is Dilawar Hussain.
And you're the applicant. Thank you very much. So now we've done introductions. The licensing officer will present the officer's report. Members may seek clarification of matters in relation to that report from the presenting officer, but so can the applicant and any of the responsible authorities in this meeting. We then have the relevant representations, and we'll take them in the order that they are in the bundle. And we have today 4, I think. We've got licensing, commercial environmental health, and Metropolitan Police, as well as trading standards. So there's 4. We'll take them in the order, though. Members can ask questions, and so can the applicant. We then move to the licensing holder who presents their case. This is for a granting of a new license. We can ask you questions, sir, and so can the responsible authorities. So we leave it at that at the moment. Is everybody clear how we're going to run this? Is that okay? And could you? I will ask you because one of my screens did go off slightly. Can I just check everybody can hear me? Just put up your manual hand. Can everybody hear me? All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. Shall we make progress then, if that's all right? Have I left anything out?
Yep.
Okay. So the main item of the agenda then, agenda item 3, John, to introduce, please.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the Licensing Subcommittee are asked to hear and determine an application for a grant of a new premises licence for number 3 West Ham Lane E15, and the applicant is Papa Joseph Limited, and any valid representations that have been made. An application for a new premises licence was received by the Licensing Authority on the 23rd of March this year. It was advertised at the premises and the local newspaper in accordance with the regulations. A copy of the application is attached as Appendix A, pages 11 to 27. The application is for the following licensable activities: the sale of alcohol for off sales only, Monday to Sunday, 0600 hours to 2400 hours at midnight, with the premises opening and closing times the same. Chair, I must apologise. There seems to be an error with the report. For some unknown reason, the published one hasn't got the letter of, it's got the letter of representation from the Licensing Authority, but it's missing from the heading for representations. So the Licensing Authority has made representation against the application on the licensing objectives of the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. And a copy of their letter is attached to the report at Appendix B, pages 29 to 30. The Council's Trading Standards team has made representation against the application on the licensing objectives of the protection of children from harm, and a copy of their letter is attached as Appendix C, page 31. The Council's Commercial Environmental Health team has made representation against the application on the licensing objectives of the prevention of public nuisance, and a copy of their letter is attached as Appendix D, page 33 to 34. And the Metropolitan Police Licensing team has made representation against the application on the licensing objectives of the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. And a copy of their letter is attached as Appendix C, page 35 to 36. Where a premises lies within a community of impact zone, a CIZ, there is a rebuttable presumption that applications for a new premises licence or club certificate or variation in respect to such premises would normally be refused unless the applicant can demonstrate in their operating schedule that there will be no negative impact on one or more of the licensing objectives. At the hearing, members of the subcommittee would need to be satisfied that the applicant has demonstrated this. The community of impact of a premises can only be considered where relevant representations are made. This means if there's no relevant representations, the application must be granted even if it's within a CIZ. Members of the subcommittee should know that each application within the CIZ needs to be considered on its own merits and that a blanket refusal cannot be made. Where the licensing authority decides to impose conditions on a licence, whether in a CIZ or not, such conditions must be appropriate and proportionate for the promotion of the licensing objectives, and conditions should be clear and unequivocal. The Secretary of State has issued guidance to licensing authorities to which they must have regard in carrying out their licensing functions. Licensing authorities may only depart from the guidance if they have good reasons to do so. This premises does fall within the CIZ, and the map of the Stratford CIZ area is attached as Appendix F, page 37. This premises had a benefit of a licence which was converted from the old Justice's licence into a new premises licence in May 2005. The licence remained in force until it was surrendered on the 8th of December 2014. A copy of that surrendered licence is attached as Appendix G, page 39 to 45. A plan of the area and of the premises are attached as Appendix H and I, pages 47 to 50. Members of the Licensing Subcommittee are asked to hear the application, the representation, and determine the application. And that concludes the report.
So thank you very much. So we're basically, do you want to, have you got facility just to show the map, John?
I do, yes.
Which is page 49 in our bundle. So we're very near Stratford Old Town Hall.
We are.
We're at that end of the road. Because it's a number 3 in West Ham Lane.
That's correct. So this is West Ham Lane coming here, the A112 that goes up into the Broadway and the two-way system. As you say, you've got the Old Town Hall, Stratford there, and opposite is number 3 West Ham Lane.
And can we have the visuals?
The what one? Street view.
Street view, that's what I'm trying to call it. Yeah.
Yep.
I like Google Maps.
So at the moment on Google Maps, it's showing as a money transfer place, but this is the unit here. So you've got a adult gaming centre on the left, and you've got the public
Queen's
house
Head
on the
Public.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Everybody clear where we're located? Is that all right, colleagues?
Yep.
Thank you. Yep. And the CIZ map, we're clearly, have we got or not? Do we have a
Yes.
CIZ map?
Yeah, we have got that. Just pull that up. So here's the CIZ map. Here's tramway, West Ham Lane and Broadway. That box there is the town hall, and this is right in the centre here is where number 3 West Ham Lane is.
Thank you very much. Right. Now, the old surrendered
yeah.
license. Yes. Sorry, can I just finish this point about this? Did you need the map up still? Sorry.
No, I just want to talk about clarification.
Yeah.
West Ham Lane from Tramway Avenue.
Yeah, they're all the same. They're all the same road.
Yeah, West Ham Lane is split, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right next to the town hall.
Yeah. So this is the bit that's right next to the town hall where the new sort of road was built. Yeah?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Correct. It's in that spur, John, isn't it? It's right, the one that's quite near.
That's correct, Chair. Yes.
I was just going to ask John, the surrendered license that's in our bundle, that refers to the a cafe that was there.
That's correct. Yes, it's purely there just so members know that once upon
Cafe
a time.
Mondo. Yes, it was Cafe Mondo.
That there was once upon a time a license there, and from memory, I think it was a non-license rather than an off-license. I'm just having a quick look.
No, it was a non-license, I think, but that was more about
it
food.
was.
Food.
It was. Yes. Yeah.
Whereas this is for a
Off sales.
a new license for an off sales. Yeah,
That's correct.
It's not a cafe at all of any descriptions. It's an off sale.
No.
Okay. Anything else? We're still awaiting George, but I think we should make progress if that's all right, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the first representation then, which is from the licensing. Now we haven't got anybody to deliver this, but this happens, with there's staff shortages and annual leave. Basically, in regard to the recent application for a new premises license, this is on page 29, correct? Appendix B. The representation is on the grounds of crime and disorder, prevention of public nuisance, and it's about the eradication of street drinkers, which I think we're going to hear about throughout this afternoon. So I won't read all this out, but it does remain within. Obviously, it falls within the council's impact zone. The expectations on a more detailed operating schedule, and then about the rebuttal presumption, and licensing authorities objecting to the application in its entirety unless further conditions are supplied that meet the expectations expected in opening and off license in this already CIZ problematic area. In addition, the hours 6 o'clock to midnight for the sales of alcohol with very little conditions will certainly attract street drinkers. I don't think we need to do any more on that, to be honest, because I think those comments come in other representations. Is that all right, Councillor Murphy and Councillor Vaughan?
It must be what I would have liked to have happened.
Yeah.
On page 29.
Yeah.
Paragraph 3, last sentence. I would have expected more detailed operating schedule in the application.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we probably could have elaborated on that a little bit more.
Yeah.
To give the a more inclusive explanation as to why that should be more inclusive in the operating schedule.
Yeah.
But maybe you can probably put that to the applicant.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a comment that's made elsewhere. So that's what I didn't want to sort of do, is to prolong that part when there's already something else, I think, mentioned on another representation to that effect from the police. Is that all right? Yeah.
Well, that is fine on that. And
Yeah.
the paragraph following that and the last sentence again.
Yeah.
Which probably reflects what was said before, and probably might have a debate on that as well a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to hear the responsible authority who submitted this report, his view on those two sentences.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, John?
I mean, normally we'd expect
Okay, sorry to interrupt, John. You're just going to have to be very careful in what you say, because obviously you have a limited role as Colin's not here, and there might be a conflict.
Yeah, I'd rather we didn't actually pursue it. Then I think we're right. I think
Okay.
Can we deal with those issues with under the staff who are here? Winston?
I was going to say, I'm sure one of the other officers can answer
they
that
are,
question.
Because John is not actually the person who's the author of that letter. And
I'm quite happy with your decision, but what I wanted to do is just to raise those points.
Oh yeah, you're right to raise them, and then they're hovering, as it were, you know.
Yes, of
and
course.
in a normal situation, that would be a direct interaction. But you see, while we're protecting the officers at this case, and also the procedural, is that okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Chair,
Right,
may I interrupt at this point just to let
Yep.
you know that the trading standards representative, Mr. McDougall, has joined the meeting. May I admit him?
Oh yes, please. Is everybody all right with that? We've got a late entrance.
Yeah.
But he is making a representation. Thanks, Antonella. Thank you. Should we just pause, colleagues, while we're letting George come in?
Yeah.
Seems a natural break where we can put that. George, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Apologies, Chair. I must apologise for that.
No, that's fine. Now, as if by magic, you've come in at just the right time to deliver your representation. It was, we could have organised this better if we'd planned it with these electronic things. If it was in a town hall, it would have worked out like this. So we're on appendix. I haven't missed anything out. Appendix C. Appendix C, page 31. And it's you to bat, as it were, George. So when you're ready.
Yep. Right. Yes. George McDougall, Trading Standards. The following representations are made on behalf of the local wages and measures authority as responsible authority in the Licence Act 2003. We oppose the application for the premises licence on the grounds of the protection of children from harm. The application is very brief in details. Under protection of children from harm, there's a statement: the licensee and staff will ask persons who appear to be under the age of 25 for photographic IDs. There's no real detail as to how this will be achieved. I believe the applicant needs to demonstrate how they are to achieve their aims with regard to underage sales of alcohol. Thank you.
Very clear. Any questions, anybody?
No, quite clear.
Yes, very clear, very succinct. Right. Okay, Councillor Murphy, you okay with that? Yes.
Yes, Chair.
Can we make progress? Who managed nothing else? Next one then is Appendix D. This time it's from Ian, please. Ian McDougall.
Thank you, Chair. Commercial Environmental Health Team is making a representation in respect of this application in relation to the licensing objectives of prevention of public nuisance. The premises lies in one of the council's designated cumulative impact zones as detailed in the licensing policy of March 2020. As such, there is a requirement to comprehensively demonstrate that there will be no additional impact on the local area in terms of the four licensing objectives. Preparing this representation, I visited the premises on the 19th of April this year. Premises situated at the north end of West Ham Lane, opposite Stratford Town Hall. Nearest residential premises is directly above Queen's Head Public House, and there's also residential premises above 35 the Broadway. There are three other licensed premises, licensed for sale of alcohol within 200 metres of this premises, which are listed there. We haven't got any complaints concerning noise or antisocial behaviour in relation to this premises in the last 12 months. The applicant is seeking a licence for the sale of alcohol 6 AM till midnight. with the shop having the same opening hours. In relation to prevention of public nuisance, the applicant proposes to prevent public nuisance by asking customers to leave quietly. The area where this premise is located has problems with street drinking and antisocial behaviour, and I've frequently seen street drinkers and encountered the rubbish they have left behind. I'm concerned that the applicant hasn't provided any information on the types and strengths of alcohol to be sold. If the premises were to sell high strength beers, lagers or ciders, single cans or miniatures, this could make this premises attractive to street drinkers and lead to an increase in street drinking, littering, public urination and other antisocial behaviour. I'm also concerned that selling alcohol as early as 6 a.m. Will attract, I should say, street drinkers there when other licensed premises are closed. Will attract street drinkers to this premises. I'm not satisfied that the applicant has comprehensively demonstrated there will be no additional impact on the local area in terms of the 4 licensing objectives. Granting this license may make this premises attractive to street drinkers and is likely to lead to an increase in antisocial behaviour. Thus, on behalf of the Commercial and Environmental Health team, wish to make a formal representation in respect of this application.
Any questions from members?
No, Chair.
No. Okay. Does the applicant have any questions at this point? Questions, sir, at this point?
Yes, that's for the opening from the 6 o'clock in the morning. That I can change. I mean,
No, sorry. You may do that when you sum up. I just want you to have any questions on what George has just said, sir.
No.
No, you're fine. Sorry to be a bit, but we have to structure it. Okay. Otherwise, we'd get sort of a bargaining thing in the committee. And what we have to do is, and it's for the benefit of the decision and how we're trying to be transparent, we give it fairness to each of the people making objections to you having a new license. So you can ask questions about what they've said so far. But if you want to address the stuff that they've raised, then it's your chance at the end of these. Is that okay?
Okay.
Right. Police is the next one, please. Connell. Page 35.
Thank you, Chair. On behalf of the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, I wish to object to a new application for a premises licence for Gudu, 3 West Ham Lane, E15 4PH, on the grounds of the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. You've heard the hours that they've applied for in the opening times. The premises are situated within a cumulative impact zone as designated in Newham Council Licensing Policy 2020 that states there is a requirement for the applicant to comprehensively demonstrate there will be no additional negative impact on the vicinity in terms of the 4 licensing objectives. It also states that in completing the operating schedule, applicants are expected to have regard to the statement of licensing policy for their area. They must also be aware of the expectations of the licensing authority and responsible authorities as to the steps that are appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. This is usually done through the applicant submitting a comprehensive and robust set of proposed conditions in the operating schedule. In section 5 of the operating schedule, in answer to the question, provide a general description of the premises, the applicant has put down simply off licence. In section 18 of the operating schedule, where the applicant is asked to describe the steps you intend to take to promote the 4 licensing objectives, he has briefly mentioned staff training, CCTV, and checking the age of persons under 25, but in insufficient detail. In mitigation, please note that the applicant has completed the form himself without the assistance of a solicitor or agent, and are encouraged that he has shown some awareness of what is required to promote the licensing objectives. Like Ian, police are concerned there are a number of omissions, especially regarding any measures that are intended to act as a deterrent to street drinkers and alcohol-dependent adults from purchasing strong alcohol or miniatures of spirits from the premises. Please consider that the likely effect of granting the licence without such conditions being attached may be to attract street drinkers and alcohol-dependent adults to the shop. That in turn may have a detrimental effect on the quality of life and well-being of local residents and other persons passing through this busy area of Stratford. Like Ian, police are concerned about the 6 a.m. start and would like the applicant to explain what type of customer he expects to purchase alcohol at that time in the morning. The premises is an off license, so customers will not be purchasing newspapers, food or other items usually sold that would be sold in a convenience store. The crime statistics that are specific to a radius of within a quarter of a mile of the premises postcode are submitted with its representation to provide a context within which the applicant will be operating if the licence is granted. The statistics for incidents of antisocial behaviour are 26 in December, 39 in January, 35 in February, 40 in March, and a reduction to 28 in April. The statistics for incidents of violence are 25 in December, 20 in January, 26 in February, and 27 in March. Therefore, police would like the applicant to appear before the committee in order to demonstrate that he understands the reasons why the area is designated as a CIZ, submit a comprehensive and robust set of conditions, and to demonstrate that he understands why the conditions are necessary to promote the 4 licensing objectives.
Thank you very much. So just if I can start off questions, in your professional judgment, if you're representing the police, would you say that the Stratford and Newtown ward area, which is our largest and is about the equivalent of 3 wards now before the boundary commission changes, does have the highest police statistics rate for
Yes,
both
Chair, it is. It regularly tops the...
And sorry, it's a long question, Colin. For both antisocial behaviour and violence, and that your figures that you've quoted are on this end of the zone, which is slightly less problematic than when it goes towards the station and Westfield, but still high at 1 per day on average.
Yes, Chair. The Stratford area regularly comes top of the league for antisocial behaviour and violence offences, and the figures, although not as bad as some other areas of Stratford, are relatively high.
Yep. I think that's all I have at the moment. Councillor Vaughan, Councillor Murphy?
Nothing from me, Chair.
No, I did wanted to raise the question of statistics, actually, which you just put. But my question would have been in terms of ratings for the area.
Yeah.
You know, low, high, moderate, whatever the case might be, in comparison with the rest of Stratford and the rest of the borough. So I don't know if you'll be able to do that, Colonel.
They are at the low end for Stratford, although they're still relatively high, but even at the low end for Stratford tends to be higher than other wards in the borough.
Okay, and that's for both violence and antisocial behaviour?
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Now, we had references earlier on to the operating schedule. In your experience, would you say that the detail is outlined in the pages where applicants are able to complete the schedule? The detail would be normally found under the 4 licensing objectives. So in other words, section 18, etc. Is that where your main focus, for lack of detail, would be?
Yes, Chair. That is where the applicant can give us an indication of their awareness of the CIZ and their awareness of the problems, and suggest conditions that would perhaps counteract some of the problems, such as not selling high strength beers, lagers, ciders, and stouts.
Because you're rightly here in the prevention of crime and disorder, because you're the leading agency. So if we look under the prevention of crime and disorder one, it just refers to CCTV. Again, from your experience, is that sufficient for the prevention of crime and disorder?
No, Chair, it plays a big part, but it's not sufficient.
So it's necessary but not sufficient, or whatever the phrase is. Yeah. And the next one is just to underline that my colleague, Councillor Vaughan, because we had references to the operating schedule. So I'm afraid I'm sort of, because you are here and licensing team aren't, the prevention of public nuisance, which is what Ian and I from environmental health is talking about. The public nuisance one, all customers will be asked to leave quietly. In your experience, is that sufficient?
Not really, Chair. It doesn't really do anything to deal with the problem of customers who may loiter outside the premises and open their cans or bottles of alcohol and want to consume them, in the immediate vicinity of the shop.
Colleagues, I think we've, and is that all right, Uma? I think we're at the stage where we can go to the applicant now, because there's quite a lot of sort of gaps that we might be able to fill if the applicant is clear on where we're going with this.
Could you let me ask one more question, please?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah. Now, these premises are situated in a kind of shaded part of Stratford. That means it's not on the main road, it's on the side road, which means that it is more likely to attract street drinkers in the street where these premises are situated rather than on the main road. Am I right in thinking that could be the case?
Yes, Councillor. I believe that is correct.
Because street drinkers tend to go where they're less visible, aren't they?
Yes, that's correct. Right. So they choose side roads. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Fair point. Yeah. Fair point, Councillor Ward. Anything else?
No.
Uma, shall we make progress on we've covered that one? Yeah. So, Dilwar, if I can call it up, Mr. Hussain, it's your chance now to say why you should have this application. Yeah, why we should grant you an application in the terms that you've asked for.
I don't understand why. Means that's
you've put an application in.
Yeah.
With, these representations. It is for you to tell the committee why you should get this license.
So the timing that I can make it the shorter from morning time, I can open later, not 6 o'clock that I have the closing, I can do it also earlier. And for the alcohol, that's I will not sell the high alcohol in the high volume alcohol to the early in the morning. And also when I see somebody who is already drunk, I will not let him I will not sell.
Has this premises been opened as a shop, or is it open yet? Is the premises opened yet?
Yeah, this time is a money transfer offices.
Yeah, so it's not opened yet. No. When have you signed a lease to begin?
Sorry?
When did you sign your lease? You're a leaseholder, I presume, of this. When did you sign the lease?
I have signed is almost 3 months, but they are waiting.
You applied to the licensing authority in March. I apologise, and I have done on these calls, the backlog.
Yeah.
So you've not moved in or opened up anything?
No, not yet, sir.
And what are you intending to sell on this shop? It's just going to be an off license. There's no groceries, no convenience.
Yes, the grocery and the newspaper, these things.
So it will be selling food.
Food, yes.
You don't need a license for any of this, I presume. And you'll be here. We're looking at this simply for the sale of alcohol. But there will be food, and it's a general store with alcohol, which you have to come to this committee for.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So you're saying you may alter the hours. Why do you think there is a concern around street drinkers?
That I have not understand what it is mean.
What is a street drinker?
The street drinker, those people who drink, I mean, that I will not let, I will not sell to them. Who is already drunk, that I will not let him in a shop to sell the alcohol. And the people who has not behavior, I will not sell to them also.
Have you run a premises which has sold alcohol in the past?
Not here, and not in the UK.
Not in the UK, but you have experience of selling alcohol in other countries?
Yes.
Right. If you're aware of what a street drinker is, and why would we have these areas where we have such a problem with the crime statistics that have already been alerted to and other issues around street drinking, that we call it a cumulative impact zone. Can you tell us what your understanding is of that cumulative impact zone? What do we mean by cumulative impact zone?
That I not very well understand what it means. Because the street drinker, they make a lot of problem in the street and in the area, and that's why they. But I will not sell to those people who was already drunk. I mean, that's are those who make a problem.
Can I refer to the application itself? The application you submitted in your name, Papa Joseph is a private limited company, and you have a directorship based in High Road, Ilford.
Yes, sir.
And who is Safta Mahmood on page 13? Who is Safta Mahmood?
Yeah, is the accountant.
Sorry?
Is accountant.
Your accountant?
Yes.
Yeah. And you had no help in filling up this form?
No.
Because, the criticism or the observation, rather, we're not judging anything, but the observation so far is that it's rather thin on detail. You've got the pack in front of you, page 19, right at the bottom of the page, if it's on the hard copy, page 19, and I'm also talking to the audience that's, watching us as well. Page 19, it says the licensing objectives. Describe the steps you intend to take to promote the 4 licensing objectives. What are these 4 licensing objectives? Did you hear the question? What are the 4 licensing objectives? Because we base our decision around the operation of any premises, and we have to be guided by the 4 licensing objectives. That's what the 2003 Act is primarily. It's like the pillars that holds up the house, the whole building. So what are the 4 licensing objectives?
Very good. I have a problem to hear that.
Can everybody else hear me all right?
Oh, yes, you're quite clear, Chair.
I'll repeat it for the 3rd time. I think I'm on the 3rd time. I don't mind. I'll carry on repeating it till I get an answer. What are the 4 licensing objectives?
That's the first one is prevention of the crime and disorder, and the public safety and prevention of public illnesses, and the protection of child from harm.
Right, so let's take the reverse in reverse order. If you had somebody who appears under the age of 25, you say you're gonna ask for ID. What sort of ID would that be?
That would be the driving license or the passport or the ID with a photo.
Right. I've dominated the questions enough, so can I go over to my colleagues? Councillor Murphy, you to start as well, please.
No, I haven't any questions at this stage, Chair.
Oh, right, sorry. Councillor Vaughan?
Maybe he can probably explain to us what is Challenge 25.
Yeah. What is Challenge 25?
The Challenge 25 is the wine and spirit, that seldom. Those who is the person who is under 25, I will not sell the the alcohol to them, and I will ask to the ID with I mean it's the passport or any ID with photo.
Because you see, sorry, it's Winston, it's your question, sorry.
No, you can carry on. As long as he answers the question satisfactory.
Yeah, we've got various representations you've heard, sir, from various of the what we call responsible authorities. Where do you currently live? Do you live in the borough?
Me, sir?
Yes.
I live in Ilford.
Yeah, so you intend to open a shop selling alcohol from 6 in the morning till midnight, where there's a problem of street drinkers, and where you've given us very few details. So you can see what the concern is of the 3 members of the panel. We need to work out if you've got any answers to those objections. Because we've had the Challenge 25 one. You've briefly mentioned staff training, as the police say. You've briefly mentioned CCTV. Let's just do the CCTV one. How many cameras are you going to have, and what are they going to do, these CCTV cameras?
This outside or inside?
No, I mustn't give you the answer, sir. It's for you to tell me where you're going to put these cameras.
It should be the 2 cameras.
Well, let's start off with how many. Sorry, how many cameras are you going to have altogether?
2 cameras. Just on the tail, and then it should be around 8 cameras.
Oh, 8 cameras.
Yes.
Right. So these 8 cameras, would one of them be on the doorway?
Yes.
What if the police or the licensing authority or the trading standards or anybody who's allowed to, inspect your premises, if we were to grant this license, how long would you keep the CCTV footage for? How long would you keep it? It used to be a tape. I don't know what the right jargon is, but it's on a stick now, How long would you keep the recording for?
It will be around 1 month.
Right. And if I was to be a street drinker and there was a problem, because Stratford does have a problem, as you've heard, you'd be able to submit that, because we don't want non-working cameras. What would it show the police or the relevant authorities? Would it show anybody coming into the shop? Because all you've said, you see, is that there's CCTV. We're trying to get from you, so what would be the effect of these measures you've put in? Because they're very thin in detail. It says, under crime and disorder, and you've heard that we've got 1 crime a day listed. These are the crimes that go reported, let alone the ones that are unreported. The licensee will install comprehensive CCTV coverage at the premises and is operated and maintained at the premises. Now that sounds good, but that's very thin. The form allows you to put as much detail in as you like. There's 1 sentence. So we're slightly frustrated. So we need to get from you today, what does that actually mean? So you've said 8 cameras or 6 cameras, but what is it going to do? Is it going to take pictures of people coming into the shop? What sort of pictures will it do?
With the camera?
Yep.
Yes, the video I will let it record when somebody goes outside or make problem.
Did you actually have any when you came on to the application, did you have a knowledge of any of our model conditions? They are also on the website, correct, John?
Yes, Chair, that's correct. Under the licensing policy on the website.
Did you look at our licensing policy and model conditions that you think that might be helpful? Sorry, sir, you need to answer every question because we need to have it fully minuted. Did you, when you filled up this application, did you have a look at our model conditions? It's either a yes or a no.
No, sir.
Right, thank you. I think there's enough questions from me. I don't know if I don't know if I can go any more with this.
Staffing. Could I?
Staffing, yes. Let's do a staffing area, please,
Yeah.
Winston. Because yes.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Hussain. How many staff would you be employing at the premises?
It will be me and one of my son.
And your son. Okay, and that's to cover a 12-hour shift, day shift, right?
No, in one's time, that's really 2%. One son, when I have 2 sons, and I mean, it will be total 3 people. But in one's time, we will stay two people.
And your sons hold personal licenses to sell alcohol?
No, he is a student. No, not yet.
So if I should imagine you're the DPS. Yeah. You're the DPS, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're not on the premises, you should have someone who are working at the premises at the time you're not there to have a personal license. Is anyone holding a personal license?
No, it's just me.
Just yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about training then now for your sons? Are they trained?
Yes, sir.
They are trained?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
What are they trained in? Sorry, I need to persist because are they trained? What is the training they've received?
They are the working in this moment. One is in Londis part-time and one is in Sainsbury.
Oh, so they've had training through other supermarket chains.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else? Sorry, Uma. Yes, we haven't explored every avenue yet. I don't think.
Sorry, just for clarity, does that, because of the application form, the applicant hasn't submitted a personal license number?
No.
And would you like to explore that?
Yeah. Have you got a personal license?
Yes, sir. But yes, but they have not they send me the ID. I have contact with them, and they say the printer and that's not working. And when they will print it, they will send me.
So who is it with?
This is with Red Bridge. It's almost more than 2 months, 3 months. They have not. The printer is not good.
Can you refer to the page number, Umar? I meant to ask when you asked your question.
Yes, Chair. It is page 18.
In the bundle, page 18.
Page 18, yes. And it's where it says country United Kingdom. Underneath it's personal license number if known. So or authority.
So, are we saying that the licensing authority is the London Borough of Redbridge? Mr. Hussain, are we
Yes,
saying
sir.
it's the London Borough of Redbridge?
Yes, sir.
And so why couldn't you get a personal license number from them? Seems most irregular. We're normally very, I mean, it's only a neighbouring borough. It's not the other side of the world.
But I have contact with them. I telephone to them, and I see, they say their printer is not is out of order. It's some months, and they say, I said to them, if I open off license, what I show to them, and they say this is the certificate what they have, what I have sent already copy to Newham. They say this is enough. And when the printer is, they have new or they will repair it, they will print and they send to me.
So has the licensing team received any such email, John?
I'm not aware of anything. I can check with my colleagues. But what I was going to say, where the applicant was saying that Redbridge's printer was down and is not in service, we've had that in the past with our printer, but we have provided the applicant or another local authority with the personal license number if it's been requested.
I would have thought so. Yeah. Okay. But we heard the response. Anything else on that, Umar?
No, Chair. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. Any further questions you think we should explore?
No, Chair, you've explored the cumulative impact zone. You've explored the licensing objectives. You could ask what his understanding of what an ABV is. But
oh, exactly. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Just my last one, really. We had references to the strength of alcohol. It is measured in the UK by an ABV. What is your understanding of ABV in terms of strength of alcohol?
That's the ABV is the percentage of alcohol.
Yeah, the percentage of alcohol. Now, why do you think that we try to limit people's access to high strength beers and lagers over a certain ABV?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Why do you think Newham has a policy, and it's in these policy guidelines that you have said to this committee you haven't looked at in terms of the model conditions, but why do you think we specifically look at the type of beers and its strength, which is measured by ABV? ABV is a bit of a jargon, but it's really referring to high strength or low strength beers and lagers. So why do you think we have a sort of suggestion around that?
That's, I mean, that's the low alcohol, that is not, it does not make the people to drunk. It's because of that.
Right.
The high is, it makes quickly drunk.
Right. Yeah. Any of the relevant representations, George, Connell, Ian, questions to the applicant? George, yes, please.
Yeah, Mr. Hussain, I wonder if you could clear something up in my mind. You said it was you and your sons in the shop, and I think you said there were students, or one of them was, but they also say they work part-time in other shops. So would their availability to work in your shop be very limited or not?
It's asking to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said you were going to work in the shop with your sons were going to help, but you've stated, I think there were students or one, and you said they worked part-time in 2 grocery shops. I wonder how limited the hours they can do in your shop is because of that.
But they will not work over there. Then they work to the shop. They will not go to work with where they are working now.
Right. So they're gonna stop working where they are at the moment.
Yes.
And are they students, or did I mishear that?
Yes. One is a student, and one is he is studying also part time. Yes.
Right. And when you say students, are they at further education, such as university, or is it still at sixth form or something?
One is in a college. There's for the electric.
So they're both over 18.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
George, anything else?
No, that's fine, Chair.
Ian?
I don't have any questions, Chair.
Connell?
Chair, if I could just refer to the plan on page 47.
Yeah.
There doesn't appear to be an entrance to the premises shown. I wonder if the applicant could clarify that, please.
Can we go to the ground floor plan? Page 47, Mr. Hussain. Where is the entrance?
The entrance.
Can you see the plan? It's now on the screen. Is it at the top end, or where is the entrance?
The entrance for the shop.
Yeah.
Is on the left side.
Where it says fire exit.
Yes, sir. This one. Yeah.
Connor, do you see where the cursor is? It is the access. It's just
yes,
fire
thank
exit,
you.
but that's the
thank
main.
you, Chair. Yes, that's clarified that.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, thank you, Chair.
No. Right. I think we've reached a point where, Mr. Hussain, we just give you the right of just quick summing up why you think you should get this license, and then we'll go and make our decision. But we do that away from everybody, you see. So any brief closing remarks, please? Mr. Hussain, it's
yes,
your
sir.
chance to tell the committee why you think you should be given this new license.
Because I have, I will, look after all the conditions about the off license. I will do care of everything, and I mean, the basic thing. I will care everything. I will not give the alcohol to the drunk people, and I mean, who is already drunk, and not to the underage. I will look after everything.
Okay, now what we now do, going back to the procedures as outlined on agenda item 2, we now pass a resolution, as is our custom and practice, to deliberate in private. That means, for the benefit of those watching us on the YouTube channel, we make our decision in private. That's quite in order. But so there'll be a card put up, but the Zoom helper will tell you what happens. Into the same room as the 3 councillors who make a decision, we take our legal advisor for obvious reasons. As I say, we're not qualified lawyers. He's here to help us on our legal points, but also the clerk, who's made copious notes throughout, because the judgment will be based upon everything written and oral. So can the Zoom helper please assist us to go into private session, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. There will be an invitation sent to all parties to attend a private room. This will be off camera. Should you wish to attend, you can choose not to accept the invitation, but we would ask that you remain off camera and that your microphone is muted. The invitation will be sent to all parties in the next 2 seconds.
Thank you very much. Everybody clear? Thank you.
Have we gone public again?
Yeah, we're in public session again. So I've just come on the microphone. Can we just check everybody can hear us? Because we're now streaming again live. So can people put up their hands like this? Can the applicant hear us? Yes. Have we got everybody back, Antonella?
Yes, Chair, we're all back.
Right. Can I then announce that the committee has come to a decision, and I'd like the clerk please to read that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Having heard all submissions, the subcommittee have decided to refuse the application. A full written decision with reasons will be provided with the aim of it reaching parties within 5 working days.
And it just remains for me to thank everybody for the way they've conducted themselves throughout this hearing. It's never easy on these Zoom calls, but thank you for your patience and understanding with, and luckily the signal has not broken down. I bet not tempt fate, it's been quite good, I think, today.
Yeah.
But the applicant, responsible authorities, the interested parties may appeal against their decision to the Magistrates' Court. That's within a period of 21 days. Anything to add, Emil?
No, Chair, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And I hereby declare meeting closed. Goodbye.